let me start by saying that's a hard game to play. And we got guys cramping up in there. We had, I think, 31 out of 48 stops. You had shot clock violations, but you had to play the whole clock. We've worked 3 days on how we finish off a game. First half, 10 turnovers, not enough movement, and so we went to our grinded stuff, which we have worked on now. So you saw that we were grinding it out, which there's some games you got to do it. So that was what was good about the last 3 days. We were able to do some stuff and didn't do it in the first half. In the second half, I just said, look guys, we're gonna have to grind it with them. If we have something easy, take it. If not, we'll grind it. Let me just say this. Scotty's done a great job with that program, we all know. You know, what's disappointing, you know, that if they win their league tournament again, they can't get in. Here's what I would say, and I've said this many, many times. If you do things for the kids, you're never wrong. If you're doing stuff based on, well, that's the rule. Well, we had a rule that they changed because a player went on TV and said, I'm starving and I don't have money to buy a hamburger, and all of a sudden all the rules changed within a week. They all changed. I understand, well, there's a rule that Bellarmine's got to wait 8 years, whatever it is. Change it. It's not right for the kids. It's not right for the kids. They should be able to be in that tournament if they do what they did. They're well coached. They're great kids. You know, I hope people will reconsider, change the rule. You change that rule. You know what happens if it comes back to them? It's on me. I'll change the rule. We're going to do something. Well, wait a minute. This is on those kids. So hopefully this will be reconsidered, and you know, they're tied with us at halftime, and we're supposed to be one of those teams. Shoot. Yes, questions? Yeah.
You mentioned on the radio last night and when we talked to Bruiser yesterday the importance of defensive discipline tonight, given such a distinct offensive style that Bellarmine plays. So from your vantage point, how did you like the defensive
Really
discipline?
good. Really good. Oscar broke down, but he never has to play out on the floor like this. So he broke down. We had about 3 other breakdowns, but when you think about it, like we were all over it, and it's hard because we're running and playing too, and then you're on defense for 30 seconds. They all were laughing in there like that was the hardest thing to guard. Well, we needed to show some discipline. We also needed to grind it out. We had 3 days. Now, you know, we're traveling tomorrow, you know, and getting over there, and we're going to have a couple more days of practice before we play. But I'm happy with what we got in with my whole team. Like, we got a whole team now, and so you know, that stuff was good. And I love Chris again. I got to figure out how to get him in. Chris Livingston, did you see him go get balls? Until then, we weren't getting any balls. The way we started the game, I loved it when I went to those other 5, and all of a sudden it changed. And now we became the aggressor. And I looked at the guys on the bench, and I'm like, why should you go back in? And I think that led the rest of us to do it. But I like what we did in the second half, 3 turnovers, playing fast, grinding it out. The other thing is, I thought we passed up shots in the first half. Can't play that way. You got to play. Every team that plays us, you ready? They have nothing to lose. Everybody. They have nothing to lose. Well, you got to play that way. You got to play like you have nothing to lose, or you're at a disadvantage every game you play.
What is keeping you from playing Chris more minutes?
Having to get some other guys, whether it be Kaysen, Antonio, CJ, someone's going to have to take less minutes, or I could play him at 4, which I was going to do today. But he's going to get more. I'm so proud of him He made one, he got tired, he went to sub himself, first time in his life maybe, that he said, sub me, right? And I left him in through the timeout because I thought the timeout, very next play, he tried to steal it, and then he let the guy run for a layup, and I knew that's on me, I should have had him out. But he's gonna get more and more time, he will. Yes?
All the good stuff that you saw defensively, some of the grinded out stuff. What offensively, in terms of what you want to see night after night that hasn't happened yet? What is it that you're not seeing that you're trying to get them to do that's not happening?
Well, this team plays different, and then you got to play a little different because of how they play. I think our offensive efficiency, even with a couple games where we didn't play well, is in the top 10. Now, flying is the best way for us to play, but we've got to realize if you don't have something, it's hard to post Oscar from the wing. I keep telling them, you got to post him from the middle third of the floor. If you post him from the wing, everybody's off, and they're, he missed some shots today. I was really surprised, some lefties, but, and then it's important because of how we're playing and because of Oscar that you got to shoot open threes, especially if you're one of those three. We need probably more aggressive play from Jacob going to the rim. In the first half, he missed 3 2-footers through him. Second half, he drove and he made baskets. But, you got to do that when they're being physical. We got to get some easy baskets that way. Yes?
Kind of follow up on that, there was a stretch there in the second half where Jacob seemed like the light bulb went off a little bit and he was attacking the basket, finishing inside. Is there a secret there to unlocking him? You saw the end of the Gonzaga game where he was hesitant early and then kind of just letting it fly late.
Well, my whole thing is I think his mid-level game and his ability and his athleticism to go to the basket, but it takes a grit to want to go in there and know you're going to get bumped and pushed, and that's where the only way you can get comfortable doing it is doing it. He's got to just go in there, and there's going to be some car crashes. But he is so much a better player. But the grit is between him being special. You want to be special? Be that guy. Where they got to play you on pull-ups. They're not going to try to muscle you because it doesn't matter. It becomes a foul and you're a good free throw shooter. So, and again, we were trying to figure out in that first half, they were packed in so bad, and then we missed some shots, and then guys wouldn't take shots, and that kind of adds up, which is why we came out and said, all right, we're grinding a little bit. So you don't score as many. I don't know what we scored. It's one of our lowest scoring games in a while. Yes?
Now, I'm curious, how much a game like this against a team like Bellarmine is a growing up part for a team? Because you can't get frustrated, you can't get impatient. You have to be mentally tough to play out like you had to play tonight.
Look, the thing I would say is it took unbelievable discipline to play that the way we played it. And they're a team, anytime you break down, which happened in our other couple games, the good teams, when you break down, they make you pay. So it takes unbelievable discipline throughout the possession for 40 minutes. When you're tired, come out. Because we're trying to win. This is not you just trying to play. And so that's what was good about this. And like I said, you get a couple guys that cramped up. So, it's what we needed. I told the guys today, I told the staff, this is like going to the dentist. That's what it's like.
Couple more.
Cal, if you're going to play Chris at the 4, obviously that maybe pushes somebody else out. Is there a scenario where Jacob can be a small ball 5 and he can be your 4?
He wanted to guard 42 today and did a great job. And basically, when he got on him, he didn't make another 3. When those other 2 were on him, he was making one after another. Can we do it with Chris and maybe Kaysen? I mean, you're going to be really small. Could we play that way? Yeah. I almost went zone today, and the staff is, are you nuts? We're defending. Leave it alone. And you could go a big zone because they were just running crazy. My guess is if you played them zone, they would do exactly the same thing and run around like crazy, but you don't have to follow them as much. But, I thought about maybe going with a bigger lineup and just saying, let's get big and play some zone just to do it. But the good news is we have it in. I've only worked on it a couple days, but it's not a hard zone to play. Yes. And guys, I'm going to answer two more because this one and one more because I'm going to do the radio. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Governor Brown's service. I'm going to go a little bit early because I want to see the family. I couldn't get up there today. I would imagine there were tons of people up there. Special man, a great friend and supporter and a mentor, promoter, called me when things you struggle, he would call. When things are going good, he would call. He came over to practice when he was healthy. Just became a great friend, and so I want to make sure that I pay respects and that I get up there tomorrow and really want to spend time with his family. So I'm trying to get out of here. Yes?
Yeah, the Reeves-Frederick lineup with them on the floor together, it seemed like that gave you that jump start in the second half. And then when Xavier came in for Reeves, that's when Frederick hit those 2 threes. So that Reeves-Frederick lineup, I guess, what does that give you? Is that something that could...
Well, if they're shooting balls and they're able to defend and rebound, you just can't exchange baskets. But, like I said, you saw Kaysen come up with balls and do stuff. And I was running a play. This is how great a kid he is. Late in the game, we were doing something, and I had Antonio somewhere, and I had him getting a back screen. And he said, let Antonio, he's just made 3 shots. Let him run that. We'll run it for him. Then think about that. Think about that. He's the only guy on this team that would say that. Oh, you're getting me a shot? So he's important to this team too. And that's why I was saying with Chris, how do we, we just got to figure it out. Because again, he went in and got 2 great rebounds. And he's able to do it. And he's not afraid of the contact. So maybe we play him at 4. Let him get in there and you play small ball with him at 4. Now you still have a roughness to you. I thought he stayed in front. He did some good stuff. Yes.
I know it's been a few years in the making now, it got postponed, but the London trip, why did you want to do this?
You're trying to get matchups that we could have at home. Next year, Gonzaga and Michigan are coming here. And Juwan, I've known him for a long time, really like him. And I said, if you want to do something, and then the Hall of Fame called us about playing in London for the Hall of Fame. I said, well, maybe that'll be a 3rd game. So, we're going over. It'll be a great experience for these kids. Really hard game. We better not play how we started this game. And they're well coached and they're a good team. So it'll be a hard game, but it'll be a great experience. And when you're doing what I'm doing, you're trying to put these kids in different situations where they learn and grow. I took a team in '94 to France when I was at UMass. We flew to France and played in the season. Went up the Eiffel Tower. I imagine none of them will ever do it again, maybe, but maybe not. Made him eat escargot because they didn't know what it was. So they took them out of the shells and I had them all taste them and it's not bad. And then I showed them the shell that it came out of and they would. So you want to put them in, doing the stuff at, Salvation Army. The Lundgren family gave away 700 meals that day. We helped with some, but many were delivered. To put them in all kind of situations before they leave here, the events we play in. So this is just one of them. It's the first college game in that venue, which they say is the #1 venue in the world. And we're staying right in London, you know. So, you know, not gonna do a whole lot of sightseeing, but we will the first day we're there, and maybe the second day, and, you know, try to get out because of where we're staying. And, you know, there's things they can walk to. But, you know, we're asked to play in a lot of events. We are. And, you know, I just want to make sure whatever we play in benefits us the most. Not this, that it benefits us the most. And so, you know, as we go forward with some of this, they talked about this ACC challenge being now. Okay, then the Gonzaga game probably happens in January or February, in the middle of our season. I've done it before, played Louisville. When I was at UMass in February, we played Louisville. So I've done this before that way, you know, and it should be, you know what'll make it a great trip. Oh, it's pretty, and then you know what'll make it a great trip. You know, you know, but we're getting better. Happy we had the days, the 2 days that we had to get the structure that we need, the sequence that we need to play with, the grind it out that we got to have in our arsenal. Can't just try to run and shoot when the other team's holding the ball. So, thanks, folks.